One. Hello, world. My name is Ashley Collins. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Breakup Diaries. I have a very special human being here with me today. Let me rewind to 3-4 years ago, where I just got my own place and I just started vlogging, and it was rough. It was very rough. It's just me basically talking to the camera, and I got a random email from Evan Carmichael. I don't know if you guys know who that is. You should know. If you're on YouTube, you should know who Evan Carmichael is. And I got an email from him, and I got a special link chat with this human who we're about to talk to right now. And it was, I had rehearsed our talk. It was gonna be this huge, grandiose, like philosophical conversation, and I ended up crying for like 15 minutes. And basically what he taught me was a play on words, the value in the word of value. I didn't understand what that word actually meant, and I'm actually getting emotional talking about it. I actually didn't put on makeup intentionally because I knew that there'd be a lot of tears right now because because I met this human at the lowest point in my life, and I was saving this towards the end, but I think that you literally saved my life. So introduce yourself for the camera, for the world, whoever's watching this, even if like one person's watching this. Introduce yourself, please.
All right. Hi, I'm J-Ryze.
So tell us what you do. What is your thing?
My thing. I help people rise. I help heroes build empires. So I believe that all the amazing empires that people see and marvel at, Nike and Apple and Buddhism and Christianity and whatever, name it, like come to be because of the mind and the beliefs and the heart and the soul of the founder or the leader or the human that spearheaded it. So if we want more greatness, we just need more great leaders. So I help people become great leaders.
So okay, so I have a very interesting question for you then. Do you think that great leaders are born, or they're created, or they are they have this natural instinct within them?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I find people often want to categorize things like you're either born it or you are taught it or learn it or nature or nurture or whatever. But they're both such massive factors. It seems weird to me to discount either one and just focus on the other.
Yeah.
So I think it's both.
What do you think? Okay, I'm gonna ask you this now. I was saying
yeah, just go with the flow. What else?
Sorry. So, okay. Something for me personally that's really like making me feel stuck is the question of wanting greatness to happen tomorrow. Why do you think that one hinders people, or is it actually helping people? If that sentence makes sense.
So, like, I want greatness to happen this second.
Yeah.
On this interview.
Yeah.
Like, that's my aim and my focus when I made time in my schedule and connected with you and sat down to do this. Whatever we end up talking about, whether it's rock climbing or saving your life or breakup diaries or whatever we end up talking about, I aim for it to be great.
Yeah.
Like greatness, a form of greatness. So a lot of times when people are talking about stuff, they have these ideas in their mind of what words mean, but like they don't really know, they're not really clear. They just throw the word around. Like I talked to someone about purpose last week, and we were talking for half an hour of like wasted time. I mean, it was still productive, but
Yeah.
half an hour before we both realized we were talking about a different kind of purpose. Like to her, purpose meant like destiny or goal or objective. And to me, purpose meant like acting with intention in the moment, like basically opposite. And so she's like, no, purpose is this, and like, how come you don't think this? And I'm like, yo, but no, but purpose is this, and how come and like we're just going back and forth. So when it comes to greatness, if you say I'm stuck because I want greatness to happen tomorrow, like you probably have a different definition of greatness than I do.
Interesting.
Because I'm intending for greatness every second.
Yeah. So do you mean, okay, question. So, sorry. This is like
No, it's good. I love it.
um so now that you say that you want greatness to happen every second, I'm thinking that I want to be great when I interact with the next human being that I talk to or the next animal that I interact with. Like, do you mean that?
Well, like let's say I'm not interacting with someone and I'm meditating. I want my meditation to be great. Or let's say I'm sleeping. I want my sleep to be great. Like I want to perform with greatness always in all things as much as possible. And it might be a lofty aim or an ambitious thing, and I might not always pull it off, but I certainly aim for it. And if I fall short, I will admit that and aim aim more for greatness the next time I approach such a this same task or same uh, experience. Um,
Mm.
so what do you mean by greatness? Because my version of greatness doesn't make anybody stuck.
Yeah. I definitely believe that everyone is capable of wealth. And when I say wealth, I don't mean like monetary wealth. I mean that whatever your state of happiness is, whether it's being surrounded by your family or
Sure.
whether that's having all the boats in all of the world,
Sure.
I think everyone is capable of achieving that,
Me
but
too.
we don't believe it. Just because we're too busy comparing my state to someone else's state.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, my next question. I went to have a notepad, but I noticed like whenever I'm doing my interviews, when I'm writing notes, that like I'm not looking at them.
Yeah, it takes you out of the flow and out of the conversation.
Yeah, and then they look a little mad. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
so
do it.
don't do it. This is a better way for you. Like you found better results without notes.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's
So
all there
there's
is to
another
it.
question.
Hmm?
Okay. Oh, okay. Origin story. So, can you tell us how you became to be you?
I can, but I was really enjoying the wealth and greatness topic. So like before we move on from that,
Yeah.
was there it felt like there was something more about beliefs because I said I believe it and then you got excited.
I just been feeling like one in a million lately, or a trillion.
You
There
are
was-
one in a million.
I don't. I really believe in the. I really believe in humans. Contrary to what you see right now, that's publicized, and I feel foolish sometimes for believing that. Does that make sense?
For believing in humans? No,
Yeah.
we've been around for like millennia. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy to believe in humans. We just keep getting better. I mean, history has literally thousands of years to prove it. So
Exactly.
I don't feel foolish believing in humans.
What do you think is because you work with like a lot of people, tons of people. What do you find is like the repetitive pattern that you're like, oh, obviously I know what's wrong with you, like before you even say it out loud.
Mm, well, I try to like work with few people, to
Oh,
be
dude.
honest. But I do work with, I have a ton of testimonials on my page, and there's all these people who've praised me and stuff. But I do try to keep it very limited. Like helping heroes build empires, that's not a large chunk of the population.
It's
Uh,
not. This is very small.
but there are patterns. Like there's patterns in the masses, and there's patterns in my clients. Uh, so do you mean patterns with like the leaders I happen to interact with,
Yes.
or do you
Yeah.
mean patterns that I notice in the public, like average, normal people?
with the leaders that you happen to interact with.
Okay, so it's usually like it's different. It's with the leaders I interact with, it's different because they're already such a rare breed that like the chances that they share similar problems is like not high. Like
Mhm.
like um like if I'm helping
Okay.
Evan is an awesome leader, but he doesn't need help with how to
Still there? I think I'm still here. You still there?
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
What's the last thing you heard me say?
Evan doesn't need help with blank.
Okay. So Evan doesn't need help with starting a new project or making money or you know, building an audience. Like it's not like that's not where he would need help as a leader. But when we first met, his stuff was all kind of like all over the place. So we talked about branding and color schemes and focus and typefaces and art direction and stuff because he was good at business, but the art direction was a bit lacking. And then we started talking about rituals and the power of gestures. So that's like when we got the believe gesture, and like we've talked about all kinds of things, collaborations and reaching bigger celebrities and like whatever isn't like helps him. But then if I take another leader, the other leader might have a great brand, like, oh wow, it's so polished and whatever, but they're struggling to make money. So then they would need help in a different area. So like the patterns aren't that like I guess the overall pattern is balance.
Yeah.
Um so usually there's stuff out of balance or out of harmony and they're like over focused on one strength while others are being neglected.
Interesting. Very,
But
very
they,
interesting.
yeah, but they don't look the same. Like it doesn't manifest itself in the same subject or topic. It's not like I'll always be approaching the same topic with every leader because they're
Very,
very unique.
very interesting. So I want to hop back to your origin story.
Sure.
How did you become to be who you are now?
So my my dad is like a genius engineer, inventor, mechanic. He's done all kinds of stuff, built stuff for the military when they couldn't find anybody else. He's helped like CEOs of like Honda and Suzuki and stuff fix their machines, even though they own the company and they have every employee that should be able to fix it. They end up coming to my dad and all kinds of stuff. So he can just look at a machine and know what's wrong and fix it.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes there's some challenges, but like it's a challenge that no one else would have tackled, and then he pulls it off. And my mom can kind of like look at a person and just do the same thing, like but with emotions and stuff. Like she's so nurturing and caring and loving, and she can just tell when something's wrong with somebody and you know look after them or elevate them somehow. And so I'm kind of like a combination of those two things. Like if a leader brings like a hero wants to build an empire, someone brings me a problem, I don't really care what the problem is. Could be anything. I've never had a problem I couldn't like assist with. And even if like I can't solve it myself, I'll be like, look, like someone's like, I'm dying and I want to live longer. It's like, okay, maybe I can't solve that. That's not quite for me.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, yo, have you looked into longevity coaches? Have you studied like immortal life? Like there's people who have lived super long. There's veterans from like World War whatever that are still kicking it and living happy lives. Like let's assemble all the happy like and by the time I'm done, the guy's like, oh, all right, yeah, there's probably stuff I can do. Or there's sports athletes that want to like milk their career and they have coaches that help them be healthy much longer. Like if we put all this stuff together, you're gonna have a good shot at it. And so then like the person goes off and they're like, yeah, man, I'm on a new, like, wow, I got a whole new mission and I'm clear and I know how to solve this problem. So like even if I can't solve it myself, I'm like, I can do like a good bulk of the jump start.
Does that make you feel any pressure to always be the one who has the answer for everything?
No, because like just because I'm blessed with this ability, uh, doesn't mean I'm on the earth to solve every problem that ever existed, and it's not my place to like. Uh, I should never be relied on as like just the go-to guy for answers. That trains people to not think for themselves and trains them to depend on others. And like you don't want human beings that don't think for themselves and are always relying on others. It's a horrible thing. That's why I prefer to work with leaders, because they generally won't do that anyways. Like they don't take advantage of people. They won't start like just stop thinking on their own. They won't take my answers just like on face value. They'll like consider what I said, and like if I'm wrong or if it's not quite right for them, they'll tweak it. Like these kind of things. Um, if anyone starts relying on me for that, I generally just bounce.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you cut that off? What do you say to them?
It's different for everyone. Like some people I'll just drift and stop talking as much. Other times I'll say like, I don't feel like we're a good fit for each other. My bad. And I generally let them keep all the wisdom and like all the awesomeness I've provided. So you know,
I mean, of course, yeah.
usually people aren't. It's hard to be upset with me because I just gave so much value and answers, and they started relying on me. And it's like, well, now I take it away because it was abused or whatever. But like, you're still better for it. Like, you
Yeah.
still got a year or 2 years of magic. Like, you're way further ahead. Uh,
So it
so
looks like that you're someone who avoids conflict very easily. How do you do that?
I feel because I believe there's a diplomatic, no conflict solution, like for everything. But I don't avoid it. Um, I'm I'm a lot of people see me as like cold or edgy or sharp or intimidating, um, because I'm pretty blunt and direct with the truth, and I don't pull punches, and I don't have time or patience for ego or resistance or lack of cooperation. So that's another reason I want to work with leaders. They usually are past all that. They don't have trouble taking advice. They're very open and receptive. But sometimes I meet someone who like is a wannabe and they're not ready, and so I end up in a conversation with them, and I end up yelling at them or stomping off, storming off, or something. I've walked it on journalists, interviewers, family members, friends, whatever, like, because
And there's no guilt.
why would there be? Like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm giving the
Mhm.
truth, and I'm offering to help them, and I'm pouring my heart into helping them, and they're being a dick and closed-minded with ego and agenda, and they don't aren't open to the help. So then why even talk to me? You know who I am. I'm upfront with who I am. I'm gonna help you rise if you want to rise. You want to be a better model. You want to be a better artist. You want to be a better leader. You want to be a better businessman, entrepreneur. I'm gonna help you. Bring me any problem, like I said, and I will crush it. You want to live longer? I'll help with that too. So this is like diamonds on a silver platter. If you're too stupid to like take it, I got no guilt. Good
Mm-hmm.
luck. Good luck in life. If you walk away from this, you are an idiot.
True, 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 true. I
So
got you.
I don't feel guilty for idiots.
I like that. You should put that on a t-shirt. I like that.
I
Love
just
that.
might.
No, like, and I love your passion, because I think that it definitely comes out a lot in your Instagram page. I don't follow you as much on Twitter. I'm not very active on Twitter, but
Neither am I.
oh, perfect. So I'm not missing out on anything.
I'm like, screw Twitter. Whatever.
Um, but I love the images are always very aesthetically very pleasing.
Thank you.
Where do you get your images from?
Usually Unsplash or Pexels or like small little stock photo blogs. I usually try to use royalty free stuff.
Yeah.
but sometimes I'll just grab like a celebrity photo from Google. Like they're kind of public domain. Like I
Yeah,
don't think most celebrities, nobody's gonna get upset if you use an image. So
true, true. And but then the caption is always the most, what's the word, the adjective, verbs I'm looking for.
thoughtful.
Powerful doesn't feel appropriate. It
Oh,
just
I said
feels,
thoughtful.
oh, thoughtful. Thoughtful. Yeah. Yeah. Thoughtful. Definitely, for sure. Thoughtful, and yet very passionate, for lack of better phrasing right now. Um I remember one in particular, I want to say like a year ago, um, where you were looking at female celebrity and you were like, she uses her sex to her benefit.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very interesting interpretation. And then I noticed recently that you post, that you share on your bio, in one of your bios, that you went from hating celebrities to coaching them.
Yeah.
So can you go from that transition for us?
So when I was a teenager, like I was in the gifted program and tested for IQ and all this kind of stuff, and so I was pretty arrogant and conceited and judgmental, and I thought I was better than everyone. Um, and I was like good at creating things like art or writing, or like I won poetry contests and creative writing contests, and I won art competitions and exhibitions, and like I made songs with my brother and DJ'd and just all kinds of art. I sang on stage and performed in
Well,
plays. Yeah. So just overall creative, and I consider myself better at it than the stuff that was out there.
yeah,
Like, oh, Britney Spears just puts out like some 2 chord, 3 chord song and fluff and whatever. So I'm like judging her nonstop, and then I'm judging like all the like Nirvana. It's just like hello, hello, like, and I'm just like, oh, it's so simple. It's so uh. So I judge simplicity. I judge catchiness. I judge pop. I judge people who didn't write their own stuff. Judge, 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 judge. Like I'm better, and they're not worthy of my respect. But it's actually the opposite. The reason they're so famous is because simplicity is hard, catchiness is hard.
it's very
Um,
hard. Yeah,
Having someone else write your own stuff, that sounds lazy and easy, but it's not. Collaborations and connections with other human being, tricky. To get someone to write your stuff in a way that suits you, that feels good to you, and you guys work well together, and you work at a royalty share or pay them whatever they're comfortable with, like even that, like even getting someone to write your stuff for you is trickier than people think. And especially if you get someone good. Like, I want you to write this and I want it to be a hit. Well, could you do that? Could you go out today and get someone to write you a hit? Way harder than you think.
yeah,
So if Brittany got someone to write her a hit, I'm all for it. Like I was so wrong about so many things. But it's a teenage thing to do, especially a smart, gifted teenager. Oh, they gotta, yeah, I'm better than all these artists, man. They don't know nothing. Like it's a it's a teenage thing to do, but I was like that for longer than I like to admit, and I ended up like failing so many businesses. Like I try to make money off my art too, right? Like
yeah,
I start a t-shirt company, or I start a web design company, or I start a portraiture or art exhibition, like an arts company, or graphic design, or whatever, a blog. I try to make money off a blog, like, and they all failed. And for someone who thinks they're better than everyone, it's soul crushing. Like you're told your whole life you're a genius, you're a family of geniuses, your parents were geniuses, you're in the gifted program, you have a high IQ, you're like bored at school and like skipping and still acing it, and just uh, and then like you think you're better than all these celebrities and then you can't succeed.
yeah, yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Mm.
And so then I ended up broke and alone and abandoned and isolated and homeless for 2, 3 years, 2.5. I don't know the exact number. A lot of years. So I'm living on the streets, and it's like, what? What
Yeah.
happened to my life? Like, how do you pick out a genius with all these blessings, and this is where the guy ends up? And then I start thinking about Van Gogh and like Tesla and all these geniuses in the past who like were amazing, but they died penniless. Um, was it Edgar Allan Poe or H.P. Lovecraft? One of them did it too. Like just, and I'm like, I don't want to end up like them, but maybe I am. Like maybe it's the exact same path.
Yeah.
Um, and so like one night I was in like an abandoned mall, like a mall that was closed, so all the stores are closed, and um, it was winter, so I was freezing. Like I would have been freezing if I didn't stay in shelter. So I'm like, maybe I can stay in this closed mall, but like I don't know, sleep on like a cold tile floor, but there's security guards patrolling it. Like, do I like avoid them or what? And so then I started trying all the bathrooms in the mall. They're all locked, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm starting to get like worried and I had a huge backpack with me because it's all my belongings. And I eventually found one bathroom that was open, and so I spent the night there. But I couldn't really sleep because it was like harsh fluorescent light and a really unpleasant environment. And so I just kind of like stayed awake, but at least I was sheltered from the winter. And I was like bawling and crying,
Yeah.
and like that night I decided like, all right, like screw it, I'm gonna kill myself.
Mhm.
But I even failed at that because I have really high standards for everything I do. That's why I thought I was better than everyone because I always did it better. Rise it up, right? uh, and so like I was like, if I'm gonna kill myself, I'm gonna do it better. So none of this messy like splatter my brains in the thing or gunshot or whatever. Like I'm gonna do it like in a peaceful, like classy way. So maybe poison, but like it's not super reliable. There's tons of people who take poison just end up like puking it out on the street or in a hospital or whatever. I'm like, well, that's not very reliable. I would do if I'm going to do it, it's going to be awesome. So then I started looking into like veterinarians and like what they do to put animals down, and there's this drug I can't remember the name now. It was so many years ago. I think pentophenylbarbitol or something. Um, and there's an institute in Sweden, called the Dignitas Institute that helps elderly like cancer people and cancer patients and stuff, like people in pain, like exit life peacefully with dignity, Dignitas, and they use this method. Um, so I was like, all right, I'm onto something. I have found the best way to kill yourself. Serious, like, and so then I started trying to source the drug, and I found it like on the black market or internet or something, dark web or whatever you call it, and and it was pricey, so it would have taken like all that I could save up or all that I could like have or manage. Like maybe if I sold everything or something in my backpack, I could get it. So I was like, all right, I got this. But then you need an address to ship it to, and it's going to be marked like veterinary supplies, or it's going to be marked pharmaceuticals or whatever. Uh, and I'm like, I don't have an address. Like I don't live anywhere. So like I could borrow an address, but like I don't want a friend questioning this. That's going to ruin everything. They might just hold on to it or whatever, right? Like, or like, so I can't send it to a PO box because you can't ship. They won't ship the pharmaceuticals to a PO box. And I'm like I'm like just like I've failed at everything in life. Like I can't even like go out the way I want to.
Yeah.
Uh, so I ended up just laying in a park. Uh, doing nothing. And like I was like, well, maybe I'll just starve here. And so like I don't know, a day passed where I just laid in the park morning till night. And the next morning woke up and I'm like, seriously, I have to lay here for another day? Like this is I'm super bored.
Yeah.
And it was a huge turning point because being bored is amazing. Being bored
Yeah.
is a lifesaver. But I'd never been bored in my life. I was always creating something or helping society or trying to succeed or doing something or showing off or like getting trying a new business or whatever, like doing these different projects, like just hustling, super productive. I was always super productive and I still am, but in a different way. Because I thought like I was raised like that's how you know, that's how you succeed. You grind it out, you hustle, you're always productive. You're never like lazy or lethargic or you know, boredom should be solved instantly. Go do something. Like
Yeah.
but no, being bored for a day and a half was like or 2 days was like the best thing that ever happened to me because just laying there being bored, I was like, I don't really want to do anything. And that's actually like an authentic thing. Like I was finally being authentic. I wasn't judging anyone. I wasn't living up to some expectations or obligations. I wasn't trying to succeed in society or, I wasn't even like trying to kill myself. I was literally just doing nothing. Um, oh, and after that, like a little like spark came up. Like, well, I'm hot and I'm tired and I'm bored and it's summer in this park, and I'm just gonna find some shade or air conditioning. That's it. It's like, but that was an authentic thing. It wasn't me trying to live up to anything or be a certain way. It was I'm if I'm not gonna die and I'm not gonna live, the least thing I could do right now, like that feels vaguely better than nothing, is air conditioning. So I went to a library and I enjoyed the library more than a park. So I was now doing something I enjoyed technically. Like I was living on the streets and I had no prospects and I was carrying a giant pack on my back, but like I was actually like happy because I went from bored and hot to bored and air conditioned or comfortable.
Yeah.
I did made a decision that made me happy. And so
Yeah.
then I was bored in the library, so I was reading and I got bored of reading and I was like, I'll use one of their computers or I'll set up my laptop on their table. Um, and so I set up my laptop on their table and I started giving advice on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I was on like this forum and that forum, Lipstick Alley, breastnexus.com, and then Evans forums and some other business forums. And I was just giving advice over and over because there's plenty of people like talking, and none of them like understood what I understood. None of them they're like complaining about longevity or immortality, and I'm like, I know more than you. Or like the breast nexus chicks are talking about how to grow boobs and slim down and be firm, and I'm like, I know more than you. And like people on Model Mayhem were like, how do I, make my photos better? And I'm like, I know more than you. And like people on the music forums are like, how do I make a hit? And I'm like, well, I've got stuff to share. Like I thought just like you. Like I thought Britney sucked, but no, you should be learning from her. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then like people are asking about business, and I'm like, they don't know I've failed so many businesses, but because I failed so many businesses, like I had a lot of wisdom to share.
Yeah.
And they'd be worried, like, what if I like can't make it or I end up homeless or broke or alone? And I'm like, don't worry, it's not as bad as you think. Like, just go out there and do it. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just giving advice, and everyone started to love it. And so like I was doing more things that I enjoyed, and I'm like, well, it beats being in the park. I might as well go here and give advice, and I feel useful to society. And so now here I am, like years later, helping leaders rise, shaping beliefs, giving wisdom. Like that's the story.
That's a beautiful story.
Thank you. Um, I'm glad you asked.
And thank you for sharing it. Like I know that you didn't have to, but I really appreciate you sharing that with me, with us, whoever's watching. If anyone's watching at all. So what's the impact you want to leave with the world? Which I know like that's a very Tom Billy you very question.
And Lisa, um,
Oh, I love. I'm going to marry her. I know she's.
She's
I'm going to
awesome.
marry her.
Yeah, I believe you. Um, yeah. So the impact I want to leave is, I want a better humanity. Like, when I was a kid, I hated like everything about society. Like,
Mhm.
I was like, all these people are dumb and stupid and terrible, and their art is terrible, and humanity is terrible. And I was like an angsty teenager, right?
Super, yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine. Like, it's fine if like things are terrible. If things are terrible, that means we can improve it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, if someone is fat, they can get slim. If someone is poor, they can get rich. If the world is terrible, it can get amazing. So I want to help realize that. And my way of helping to realize that is by taking the highest leverage humans and tweaking them, like making them better. Like, it's not useful for me to make like some retail worker a better person. Like, if their life path is to just be that forever, and they're not open to advice, and they're not looking to get better, and they don't want to get better, it's useless for me to give all this like amazing wisdom I have to offer to them. But if I give it to like a leader, a thought leader, an influencer, an empire builder, then it's amazing, because they will disseminate that to their whole team and their whole audience, and like, they're high leverage people. And so if I have high leverage advice and guidance and contribution, I want to give it to high leverage people, and we will have a transformed world.
Do you think that people are doing the best that they can?
No. Well,
Okay.
yes, it depends what, see, you have to define best, right? Because I'll be talking about
Think
it.
of
We'll be talking.
someone. Think of someone, whether you know them personally or not. No, yes, someone that you know personally who frustrates you, who pisses you off.
Sure.
Yeah. What if God, the universe, whatever you believe in, whatever, I don't know. Okay,
Hello.
sorry, I'm poor. Okay. I'm going to restart that. Okay, so the question was, do you think that people are doing the best that they can? Imagine that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, um, came down to you and said, this person is doing the best that they can.
Mhm.
How would you react?
Well, it's true. Like, I agree with that. Everyone is doing the best that they can. Um, but best implies like a ceiling or a limit. So it's like they're doing the best that they can at the moment,
Yeah,
but it could change in the next moment.
yeah,
So sure, they're doing the best that they can, but I'm aware it can change in the next moment. And
yeah,
so why shouldn't it? Why couldn't it? Why not? Like, why not change right now? Why not drop your ego and your agenda and just listen to my advice? Like, it could change. So since that's on the table, every time I talk to someone, like, fine, they're doing the best they can, but that's meaningless to me. Like, because I'm looking like next moment you could be doing better.
yeah. Interesting. Sorry. I was given a list of questions to ask you, but I didn't ask you any of them. I'm sorry.
Well, we can squeeze one. I'll make a little extra time.
Unless you don't want me to.
No, we can squeeze one in. Go ahead, but I
Okay.
gotta go.
I don't know. I don't know. How did you start Rise Gear? Let's talk about Rise Gear.
Sure. So Rise Gear is a like a totally random experiment. I believe it started because Jennifer Price, like at Jen so much, Jen.
Yeah. Is that her
Um,
name, Jennifer Price? Why did I not know her last name?
I don't know,
Very rude.
but
I didn't know last names at all.
at Jen so much.
Yeah, that's
Um,
her last name to me so much.
wanted a T-shirt. And so I said, like, okay, I'll make you a T-shirt. And it's like, how do I get this T-shirt to her? Well, other people might want the shirt. I might as well start up a one shirt store, and that way she can order it and get the shirt. And I was gonna do that, or I did that, and it was like a free trial.
Yeah.
And so she got the shirt, and that was that. I was like, I'm probably not gonna put much time into a clothing line or Rise gear. Like it doesn't. I made like a huge batch of T-shirts when I was a kid, and it cost me like $3,000 or something. And I had like an investor friend in it, and I lost him the money, and we didn't do anything with the shirts. Like we got them in some stores, but ultimately like it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, probably I'm not going to revisit that. I'm on to other things.
Yeah.
And then I made some shirts for Evan over the years and some other clients and stuff. I made them, but like I never saw myself as a clothing line or store or shop or whatever. But then I made one for Jen and I put it online, and a few other people wanted it. And then when I went to like a Christmas gathering with my family, like the people there were like, "What are you up to?" I told them about the shirt, and they were like, "Oh, can you make me one for my yoga studio? And I'll make sure all the instructors buy one." I'm like, "All right." So I made a yoga shirt, and like she made an order of like 8 or 10 shirts. I was like, "All right." Um, and then I met Cynthia, Sunshine Online, or
Yeah.
Sunshine Online 2 now.
Hmm.
Um, and she saw like the handful of shirts I had there, the yoga one and the one I made for Jen and the this one that I'm wearing now.
Hmm.
Um, and she was like, "Oh, this is amazing. Like I'd love to like grow this clothing line, grow this store. I have some ideas for some new shirts." And I was hesitant because I'm like, it's a lot of work uh to design these shirts, and I'm more of like an advice giver and like an maybe art direction. I don't really want to like click around and make the designs, but I could, like I'm good at it. Um, so she asked for a few different shirts, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll make them too. So I made them, and it kind of took off from there. Like she started like marketing them and growing it, and she set up a Instagram for Rise Gear, and then at Evan's workshop, some people like saw them and wanted them, and one of the guys there was a t-shirt sales guy from Norway, and he gave me some advice, and he was like, you could change the homepage. And so now if you look at the risegear.com homepage, uh, there's all this copy on it, like a story of like my beliefs about t-shirts and clothing and designs. And then there's like a story of like my process, like because so much goes into each shirt. Most people don't know, like uh I listen to like specific music for each shirt because it has to match the vibe of the shirt, and I want it to like influence me as I'm designing it. And like I'll look at hundreds, maybe 1,000 different shirts of like if I'm making a dance shirt, I'll look at so many dance shirts before I make it because I
Hmm.
need to know what's out there. I need to know what's the best, and I need to beat it. So I'm always aiming for greatness. So like yeah, the store's just grown in so many different ways. And I think even you, I don't know if you did you buy a shirt or
Didn't no.
oh, but you complimented like a lot of them.
I
Like you
love. Okay, I'm lying to you. I love the. What's the word I'm looking for? The one pieces. What's the word I'm looking
bodysuits,
for?
bodysuits.
Bodysuit. Why am I having a hard time with that? I love the bodysuits, but like I'm a bodysuit kind of girl, so I
Which
really,
is
really
which
like
is
it one day.
that's peculiar because your shots with Sloan Photography.
Yeah.
Sloan. Um so they're beautiful, stunning shots, and I'm
Oh,
pretty
thanks.
sure you're wearing a bodysuit or at least something that looks like a bodysuit in them.
Yeah.
And like literally some of your best, like most aesthetically pleasing work, I can't imagine why you would like wear one, pull it off, have amazing results, and then like stay away from bodysuits forever. It's a peculiar thing.
No, like I definitely like I love bodysuits.
Okay.
I just hate my stomach, so I think my stomach looks weird in them.
So this will stop you from being a leader.
Yeah. No, I definitely know that. I definitely know that.
So
Yeah.
like so like this is the kind of thing I help people with.
Mhm.
Like you can take something that you hate, or something that like you believe that's like really hard and painful and emotional, and like you're like dead set against it, and you can gradually get it to the other side.
For sure.
But for most people it takes like decades,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to. Like
Hmm.
why should it take decades to change like something we have control over, like our mind, right? You could, I say you can do it in a conversation, but at the very least you could do it in a month or something.
For sure. I definitely agree with you.
So like, does your stomach digest food?
Yes. I think so.
Is that a blessing?
Yes.
So like you would have to say like I I love my stomach, my tummy, like somehow. Like I love it on some level.
Yeah.
And so now you've gone from this far end of like I hate my tummy to like I love it. I love it on some level.
Yes.
And so then you can take it further. Like, is the skin on your tummy smooth? Relatively smooth compared to, you know, some some zombie in Hollywood or something,
Oh.
like Walking Dead, right?
Oh my
Like,
goodness. Yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so like relatively the skin on my stomach is relatively smooth. Is that a blessing?
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think that everything is a miracle. I definitely believe that. But I also think that there's this happy medium between being happy with yourself and also being simultaneously dissatisfied with yourself. And I know that I'm not at my fullest potential
Well,
physically.
sure, I agree with you, but
Oh,
like,
thank you. Thank you.
but no, because in my like I see like I'm like you could be so fire, like you could be taking over Instagram, like you could easily be like any of the models I follow. Um, so like I see your potential for sure. And more, and even better because most of them aren't even as vulnerable as you. Um, so like you combine like supermodel looks with Ashley level vulnerability, and what do you have? Like you have someone who's taking over the industry. But whatever. Um, I'm just focused on here and now,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and like yes, I agree that dissatisfaction is fine and good,
Yeah.
but the path to change, like there's two sides of the coin. There's the I'm dissatisfied side, and there's the I love X about Y
Yeah.
side. And so
Oh, yeah.
I'm focused on the I love X about Y side because the dissatisfied side is always there, but it's not a path to change. It won't ever change if we focus on that side. So like as a coin, you can only focus on one side. So like at the start of this conversation, you were focused on the I hate my stomach side. That's why I'm not buying bodysuits. But I'm focused on the you look amazing in bodysuits. It was your best work. You should definitely wear more. And I love your tummy side.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yes, we agree the side exists, but there's no focus being given to it
Mm-hmm.
because your stomach digests stuff. Such a huge blessing.
Yes.
It keeps you like relatively healthy and alive and processing food well, and for the most part doing well. It's a blessing, and maybe it could digest better, but whatever. Like definitely happy about that. The skin there is much smoother. A lot of people have scars and stretch marks and all kinds of terrible things like cancer and stitches and whatever, and you have relatively smooth skin. Huge blessing. Um, um,
I love your thinking face, by the way. It's so like, oh my, I imagine you like just sitting around like a group of authors and you guys are like talking about like the state of the world and you guys are like just looking up. It's so funny. Okay, sorry.
There should be more. Like, there's always more. Um, so, so have you ever rested something on your belly, like a book when you're laying in a lounge chair, or a laptop when you're working laying down,
Oh yeah,
or
of course. Yeah.
okay, so so like your tummy makes a great table. It's like
It does.
it's pretty flat, it's pretty nice, it balances things there. So you can see like if you can do this enough, you start to make the journey from I hate my tummy to I love my tummy.
Mm-hmm.
And all the cells there will tighten up. They will metabolize things better. They will reform themselves and reshape themselves without even exercise or anything. Because why? Because cells are like miracles, like you said, and they but miracles run on fuel. And
Yeah.
the fuel that they run on is love and self-care and positive focus. So if you focus on the dissatisfied side, they get no fuel and you get no change. And you're like, how come my tummy never changes or whatever, no matter what I do? Well, it never changes because you're focused on the dissatisfied side and they don't have the fuel, like the miracle fuel.
Mm-hmm.
But if we focus on what I'm doing, like I love my tummy. You write it every day, you think it every day. You're honestly thankful that it digests food. You're honestly thankful that it provides a flat surface sometimes. You're honestly thankful that it's relatively smooth. Um, like that's fuel for the cells there. And so you will get change and then you'll be able to pull off bodysuits all day every day. You'll feel great in them and you'll be super proud and you'll look at them and like in the photo and you'll be like, that's fire.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Well, I'm glad
Okay.
it came up.
Okay, so where can people follow you, find you, stalk you, etc.?
I'm at Rise Online everywhere. At Rise Online, RYZE online. And I have my personal site, which is J-Ryze.me, and I have my clothing site, which is risegear.com.
You're not on Facebook though, yeah?
I am.
What?
Yeah, you can add me. But I think on Facebook they make you use your real name, right?
Yeah.
So
Give a
so it's Jason Fonseca.
what?
My real name is Jason Fonseca.
What are you?
I'm well, my dad's Indian, like from India, and my mom's white, like Canadian, and so I'm I'm half.
Fun. That's interesting. I've never heard that last name before ever in my life.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of Portuguese.
It sounds very Spanish.
Yeah, or yeah, it's got like a Spanish vibe
Sorry,
to it.
sorry, Spanish is not Portuguese. Sorry, that was so stupid of me to say that. That was so stupid. I went to college.
It's all good. Um, yeah. So, anyways, I'm on Facebook too.
But you never use it.
Eh,
Yeah.
Facebook's kind of lame.
Yeah, and I wish it wasn't.
Eh,
Everyone has a Facebook, but like I feel like everyone has a Facebook, but like no one uses it.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
I mean they still have a lot of users, but I don't think any young people use it.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg. That's why I think that's why he bought Instagram. Like if you have Facebook and you have all the users, then you don't need to buy Instagram. But if you have Facebook and you only have old people and all the young people are on Instagram, then probably you're gonna buy Instagram and get everybody.
Yeah.
And
Very
so
true.
he bought them. I think it's a smart buy, but
Super smart.
I feel like his team has gone downhill and the people in charge are not very
On
great.
Instagram?
Yeah, or Facebook. Like both
Yeah.
teams are not super great. So like I'm enjoying it less and less. Like I'm enjoying Facebook less and less, and I'm enjoying
Dude,
Instagram less and less.
dude, can we talk
Um,
about that?
yeah.
Dude,
What
like
time is
I
it?
don't know, but lately I've just been so bored.
Well, bored is good because it'll make you do other things.
Yeah. Oh my god, I've been like so like, screw it, I'll just post it. You know, like because I'm like, why not? You know? In a kind of weird kind of I know I saw something like a month ago that said that done is better than perfect. So I'm like, oh, and then I heard Gary Vee, his thing that said, just fuck up on purpose. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck up on purpose. I don't care. Cause like like I'm not getting paid for this. You pull it down, I don't care. I'm not getting paid for this. Like,
Yeah,
like
same.
I'm just gonna post it, you know?
But you kind of are getting paid for it.
Why do you say that?
Because people are blind to money. Like if you look at the world economy, there's money flowing everywhere. Like in your life to you right now. Like everything I've given today, like I've told, I would like normally charge a lot for. It is like priceless advice and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So like you offered an interview and you gave me a platform, and so you're doing your part, and I'm doing my part, And so value is flowing between us. Like, this is something you could charge for. You could put it behind a paywall and be like, you know, you could put a headline like Evan's advisor, get the secrets that he has or whatever, and charge, and people would pay you. Why? Because it's valuable. Like,
Yeah.
it's money in your hand, but people don't see it. Or like, if what I taught about changing the cells of your tummy, like, you could build a health empire around that. That is not like common thing. You're not going to go on the internet and research that and find that. That is fucking valuable money making shit. If you're
Yeah.
like, if you go do it and you like, you spent 3 years trying to fix your tummy and you never could, and then you go do this and it changes in 30 days, now all of a sudden every woman wants your secret and you're making bank. You
Hmm.
could you could post a series on Instagram of like tips on how you did it, and then just help everyone else who wants a taut tummy. Like, there's money flowing to you all the time. Every like is money. Every comment is money. Like, Instagram, if you pay to advertise on Instagram or Facebook, they will charge you per like,
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
or
I
per
didn't know that.
click, or per impression. Because why? Because if they can deliver 1,000 likes to your content, or 1,000 eyeballs to your content, hashtag money, hashtag worth, they know it's valuable.
Yeah.
And if you go talk to any of the influencers I know and they have a huge audience, they're going to charge for an Instagram post. Why are they going to charge for an Instagram post? Because all the likes and all the comments and all the engagement and all the fans they built up,
Yeah.
every single one was money. It was a
Yeah.
percent, a tiny percent of money. And when they built up enough, now they could charge bank for it. But how did they get there? They had to view every like as money. They had to chase it and care about it and want it and try to make their content better for it and try to improve their thumbnails and hashtag. Why do they put so much effort? Because they know it's valuable. On YouTube, people actually get paid just because people viewed their video. Like,
Yes.
bam, monetized. Because YouTube knows it's worth paying for. And how much money does YouTube pay out to every monetized channel? Like, could you count it? Like, what's their budget? Like, how much do they pay out?
And I know they're fighting a lot to not pay them.
Sure, because because if you looked at the numbers, you'd be like, wait, we're literally paying 1 billion a year or a month or whatever to all of these different creators.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right to pay for views. Like, the creators are providing content. Like, we should pay them, but like, this is insane.
Yeah. It's becoming a lot.
Yeah. Like, everyone complains about YouTube, but if you looked at their books, if you were running a business and you looked at their books, what would you do?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's not all right positive for them. You know?
It's not. That's the point.
How many people actually have a YouTube subscription? I have one.
I
I'm
don't.
the only person in my whole circle I know who has one.
Yeah, there's like one human being on Earth that has a subscription, and
Yeah.
a billion people getting payouts for their monetized channels.
And like, who looks at the YouTube original movies? I've never seen one.
I know. Yeah, but there's a billion people getting payouts for their monetized channels.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting perspective. I never thought of that.
But money is everywhere, in every like, in every post you make. So like, I don't like when people say I'm not getting paid for this, because you're getting paid in attention, and attention converts to money.
Yes.
We're in an attention economy. Facebook built an empire off attention. Instagram models build empires off attention. You could build an empire off attention, but not if you consider it nothing and we're not getting paid and blah blah blah. Like, it's a bad attitude.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. My thing is just it just feels wrong for me.
You're getting paid for it though.
It just feels wrong.
Okay, but you're getting paid for it. Like, you just have to admit that. Like,
no, yeah, but then like, it just feels
like, I value my time, and sometimes I leave really deep comments on some of your posts. I leave some pretty thoughtful things, paragraph long.
But then I wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, give me all your comments, so I'm getting money from them. Like, it just feels like, I don't know.
I'm not saying you have to fiend for comments or fiend for likes.
Yeah.
I'm saying you have to witness them And just like you appreciate your tummy, like I appreciate that it digests food, and I appreciate I can rest my laptop on it, and I appreciate that it's relatively smooth compared to a lot of people. Well, I appreciate that I'm getting likes and attention, and I appreciate that I have 1,500 followers now. I appreciate, like, they're all paying me attention. They're all paying me stuff that YouTube would pay for, or Instagram would pay for, or Facebook would pay for. Because if I want to pay for ads, this is not free. This is something I would have to buy, but it's given to me. And Jay's giving me advice, and I would have to pay. He doesn't even charge by the hour anymore. It's not even possible for me to get this advice by the hour on an hour call, but I got one. He's paying me, and I have to look at you and be like, she is paying me a platform to expose my stuff, and an audience, her audience, I get to share with. I couldn't get that any other way. Like, I'd have to pay for someone's audience, and so this is a fair exchange, or like whatever, or like you could argue that mine's worth more, yours is worth more, or blah blah blah. But like the point is, value is exchanged, and
Yeah.
we're both getting paid by this. So you're not broke, and you're not getting paid. You're getting paid in lots of ways, but most people are blind to money because they don't understand how the economy works, and they don't even realize they're being paid. And they're like, but I can't spend it. And I'm like, well, you could if you would just have a different attitude and build it up a little, build a little more attention, and you can monetize it. Maybe be thankful for the stuff that's coming in, the money, the attention that's coming in, and pretty soon you'll be making money from it, but not with your attitude. Like, no, I'm not getting paid and I can't spend it. Man, I can't stand, like, I'm like, you are getting paid. And it's I was the same way. Like when I was homeless and broke, I had a shitty attitude about money. I didn't see what I had in front of me or what people were giving me. And so then I of course I can't monetize it or build a business off of it. How could I? I wasn't seeing clearly or appreciating it when it came in. Like I should have appreciated every attention, every time someone liked my advice. And so I finally started doing it because I was bored. And so when I had something to do and I was like able to give advice on the internet and someone liked it, I actually felt like I was being paid. I was like tearing up. Like, this is so much better than laying in a park. Like, thank God this is happening, and thank God that I can speak this out. Like, I literally feel like this is giving me life. And you'll hear famous people all the time, oh, I was so grateful for every I was so grateful for every fan. Like when in the beginning, like I just did it just for the comments. Even Evan says like this, when I was doing it, one comment kept me going on YouTube because it was a lot of work to make videos, and if I got even one, like, it meant the world to me. What they're really saying is that it feels like payment.
Yeah.
They're saying, I appreciate the payment.
Yeah.
And so anyone who wants to grow has to start from this attitude. They all have to. I had to, Evan had to, everyone has to. You have to appreciate the tiny little things that are coming to you, flowing to you, and see them as payment, even though you can't spend them.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you like stand-up comedy?
I love stand-up comedy. George Carlin, Bill Burr,
Shut up.
Chappelle, Cat Williams, although he fell off the radar.
Yeah.
Like so many. Aries Spears. Like there's so many great stand-up comedians. They usually drop some genius wisdom in a funny way.
You circle things around like a comedian.
Yeah, I learned from them.
Yeah, oh my god, you can learn so much from comedians.
Yeah, I see it as payment.
And like it all comes back to the beginning of the story. I think it's always so fascinating.
I see it as payment. See, the comedians educate me. They give me knowledge and wisdom that I would have to pay for, but I get it for free. I am being paid by every YouTube video I watch.
Dude. Okay.
But people are shitty about it. They don't respect any of the content. They're getting smarter and better by seeing these amazing things, and they're like, whatever, man, it's free. I don't care.
Yeah.
You don't value free stuff. No, they are paying you.
You don't value free stuff.
Likes are paying you. Comments are paying you. Comedian videos on YouTube are paying you. They're teaching you how to tell a good story or how to bring it circle around. Like you're becoming a better person, and you would have had to pay for the advice for someone to teach you.
Yeah.
They're paying you. So when I watch content,
I want to keep going, but like I know, like
I gotta go
over time. I know. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too.
This was so cool. Did I freeze?
No, we're good.
Yeah, I froze.
No, I can hear you. Ash, I'm hanging up.
That works. I'm gonna keep going because I think that you can hear me. Oh no, why? Freezing happened. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching that phenomenal talk that I have with J-Ryze. You can click on the caption below where to follow him, where to find him, where to go for advice on life, on success, on greatness, on just trying to improve your life. Your life doesn't stop at any particular moment. Your life can improve at 16. It can improve at 60. And I think he's one of those people who can do that for you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, for watching. Thank you. Bye.